going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. So breakfast this morning is a prime, some water, and then probably about 4 egg whites, 2 full eggs, and then some smoked salmon. Beautiful breakfast. It is Friday, June 24th. It is 7:30 in the morning. I'm very excited for a super productive day today. Last day of the week, and then we get to cruise through the weekend, have some downtime. Very excited. Today we are going to talk about a couple different things. One is how you manage not overtraining when you're in a time to grind mode, which I'm in quite a bit, and I know some of you are as well. The other piece of that is how I got to the point where I'm at today with playing professionally from youth recreational soccer all the way until now. So we'll talk about those things today and enjoy a great training session, some awesome mobility work at the gym, and then some work later this afternoon back at home. Okay, so looking through my to-do list for today, as you guys know, technical training, mobility and stretching. I'm thinking about getting a different drone. I've got to make some app priority sheets, logo, trademark countries, basically figure out where do I want to trademark my app in different countries. And then I've got a meeting with my sports psychologist later today, which is awesome. But I wanted to start with how I got to where I am. So we'll start at the very beginning of my recreational soccer career. Right, so to make this a little bit interesting, we're going to put like a player profile right here for each kind of relative age of when I jumped levels. So the first level is recreational soccer, and that's from ages 5 to 12, I believe. Yeah, started when I was like 12 and a half, 13 in Premier. So from that age, 5 to 12, I was a lot bigger than most kids were. I grew really quickly, so I was often put at center back or striker. I played up a year, all those years, with a group of kids that my parents went to church with, I think. We played for a local recreational team that was built out of my neighborhood. So it was a bunch of neighborhood kids, and it was all kids a year up, so the 94s. I was really fast as a young kid, and so I was really powerful, really fast, and really big as a young player, and so I often scored a lot of goals, took free kicks, did that kind of stuff, but wasn't really tactically aware, so pretty low tactical IQ. Definitely didn't understand how to play like in and out of pressure, what playing through lines was. I knew that I loved to play the game. I thought it was so much fun, but I basically knew nothing about soccer. I was just, we sort of just learned how to play and, kick it long and run after it. Like, the coaching was great, it was fun, but it wasn't anything near what tactical IQ should have been taught, I think, at that age. But to be fair, it was recreational soccer, so what are you going to do? But that is where I started my soccer career when I was really young, 5 to about 12 years old. Okay, so it is 71 degrees currently. It's supposed to be almost 90 degrees today, which means I'm actually going to get my ass to the field quickly. It is 8:49 in the morning. I've just been letting food digest, drinking lots of liquids, getting ready for the training session today, which will be mostly probably outside back specific stuff. Fridays, I tend to do lots of crossing, lots of finishing. So it'll be, instead of sort of the passing focus that I do either with Charles or with some of the other guys that I've been training with here, it's usually more of a position specific training day. And then I get lots of shots in, have some fun at the end of training so that I can get back to the gym and do my mobility. So today I'll be wearing my kit with the shorts and, what boots do we wear today? Maybe I'll try to break in the new Hypervenoms that I need to start to wear a little bit. Yeah, I think I'll wear those. I'll be back with those in just a second. Okay, these bad boys are what I'm going to wear today. Oh yeah, look at those. Absolutely beautiful. Hypervenom Phantom 3 DFs in this like orange and black color. Super, super cool. I've worn them one time when I was in Seattle when it was raining a little bit, so I got to break them in just a little bit. So hopefully they won't hurt my feet like hell today. I'm playing on turf, which is a little bit of a bummer because these are black shoes, which means it's going to be very warm, but no problems there. I'm actually going to grab a couple things, make sure I have everything for the gym, and then we'll get to get in the car and I'll talk a little bit more about the next phase of what my playing career looked like, how I was able to get to the next level. finally time to get out of here. I've got my camera stuff for the training session. I've got my stuff for the gym and my soccer bag. That's all I need, really. Life is pretty simple, to be fair. Almost forgot one of the most important things. Sunscreen. Wear your sunscreen, kids. Alrighty, so section number 2 of sweet. By the way, my wife is out of town, so I don't know if you noticed that already, but yeah, she's not here. She is back in Seattle with one of her best friends. It's excellent. Her best friend came all the way from Australia, which is dope. Let's get some more sunlight in here. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, so my wife is gone, which means I get to grind on some content. I've got some crazy sessions coming up next week. I'm actually driving all the way to Rochester, New York to visit somebody who you probably all know, and you guys will see the videos coming out in the next couple weeks about that. But let's talk about while I get driving and put my racers on. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this contraption actually works while I'm driving. I really hope it stays where it is. I've basically jerry-rigged a tripod to sit like on the floor, kind of, but it seems to be working pretty well so far. Hopefully it's not too jiggly for you guys. So let's go through 13. So we've covered 5 years old to 12. That's when I played recreational soccer. I was a little late to the Premier League stuff. Then I went to Premier when I was 13, I believe. When I was 13, I was able to do soccer full time, and so I decided to go Premier. And from 13 to 18, or 13 to 17, whenever I graduated high school, I think I was 18, or I just turned 18 or something, I played at the Premier level in Seattle, which at the time was called RCL, a league right below the Development Academy, which I guess doesn't exist anymore for youth soccer players. But I played in that level, and then I trained with the Development Academy team, both at the year above me and at my own year for my 16s, 17s, and 18s year. I never played games with the DA, but I did all my tournaments and stuff with either the year above me or my own age group in the RCL League, which was, again, the Premier Division in Washington State. I would say everybody caught up to me in size, and there were a lot of bigger players. I was still pretty fast, so that was a good thing. And my technical ability was always pretty good, and I had a pretty good sense of what was going on. But that's around the time when I really started getting into tactical stuff and started to work on had some pretty amazing mentors who helped me on the mindset piece of thing. So I really was able to take my game to the next level because I was focusing on tactical and mental side of things. And those are sort of the two areas that a lot of talented footballers get caught up by, because they don't have that ability to keep their mind really solid when things are going wrong, or they're not able to keep their head on straight in a game and get a red card, things like that are just not ideal for anyone. My trajectory was pretty linear getting to 18 years old, pre-college age, but it took a lot of moving around and trying to figure out hey, what are the best club teams in the state? So I ended up playing for the best club team in the state at the time, which was called Crossfire Premier, and Crossfire Academy, which was the academy that I was able to train with for a little while. And both of those situations were awesome for me because I was really able to grow as a player. And my coach at Crossfire, Mark Collings, who's now the assistant at UW, he was the head coach at Seattle Pacific University. He is so he's a tactical genius, and he was able to mold me and the other players who I played with into players who understood tactical awareness and really understood not only where do we need to be on the field in multiple different positions, but where do our other teammates need to be on the field. And that was something that really leveled up my game. And I think without Mark, I probably wouldn't have been able to have so much success in college as I did, because I wouldn't have understood really. Yeah, I watched Barcelona play and I watched Madrid play and I watched these amazing clubs play at the highest level at that time, but I really wasn't understanding it until it was put in training sessions that we had with Mark in Crossfire. So I would say the younger you can get into tactical training and really understanding where your position is supposed to be on the field, where other people are supposed to be on the field, that's when you really level up your game, and that's the really important part. So that's 13-ish to about 17 were my club years. So I got a question the other day about taping my wrists during training, which for some of you might be kind of weird. And it's something that the sports psychologist and I have worked on. It's something you guys know has been a long time habit of mine prior to games, but it's something that we call, I believe it's called a totem. And the way that it works is every time I'm feeling like I'm in a negative mind space, or even if I get, at this point, it's only a fraction of a negative thought or a not positive thought or not neutral thought, what this does is this always constantly reminds me, and there's something called a reset routine. And this is all things you'll learn in the app on the mental side of things. If you guys wait for that to come out, obviously there'll be tons of stuff from Dr. Preston, who's going to be providing all the material for the mental side of things. But basically what this does is I write to a phrase on each thing that are meaningful to me, and there's a reset routine that has to do, that's totally personal, everyone's is different, but there's a reset routine that every time I'm in training session or I'm in a game or something and I do my reset routine, it takes about less than 2 seconds, and all it does is it mentally switches me back into the peak mindset that I want to be in to perform at my top level. So that's what tape even for training is. And so now I tape during games and during training. It's the same every time. It's very much a part of my routine, and it's very much helping me get to that next level and keep continuously training at a super, super high level. right guys, so that just about concludes the training session. Good, like proper hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes almost. Most of it was just form stuff. So as I mentioned before, I wasn't doing anything super crazy, but it was definitely really fun. And it was also great to get some 1v1s to crossing, to shooting, just making sure that I'm getting my form correct on both of those, and getting some practice doing 1v1s, because that's obviously something as an attacking fullback is really, really important. So on to the gym, on to some recovery, sauna, pool, the works. I'm very excited, I'm very tired, ready to get after it. All right, you guys have been here with me before. Thought I would check out Soccer World and see what they have in stock, because I have been asked many times in the last couple weeks to review a pair of Uno Zero boots. So I think they have them, and so what I'm gonna try to do is go see if I can grab a pair. I'll be back in just a second and I'll show you some of the stuff that I get to pick up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have success. We have the Uno Zero boots. I got the Modelo 1.0. So the ones, not the Cali ones, not the ones that are like calfskin leather. I got the ones that are like kangaroo leather, like proper good kangaroo leather. So try them on. Review coming probably in 2 or 3 weeks from this video drop. So it'll be a little bit, but at least you know. Told ya. Review is coming. Home is going to be my gym for today. I'm going to roll out and do my recovery stretching here because I have a meeting in about 2 hours, and I really want to make sure that I can cook food and be ready to go for my sports psychology meeting. It's hot as hell outside, so gonna cool off for a little bit, relax, get some food, and enjoy some stretching and chill time.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. It's your channel. Just do what you need to do if it's one of the videos you want scheduled in the next 2 weeks. Definitely just get it done when you have the chance. Yeah, we're gonna. You see their skin, like their clothing has been pushed.
Misfit dudes who love cave diving, and they can go in. Are carefully designing our bottles
to be 100% recyclable.
the Joe Rogan experience.
It's kind of stunning.
About to jump into the meeting. Hey, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
What's going on?
Not too much.
Did you get more of that feedback from the team?
Yep.
Well, the content was fuck dogs hump.
Yeah, right.
Stupid. Or, get 1,000 likes and views, but it's like really good.
What a fantastic meeting. So let's see. Little rundown of what we talked about. You probably heard a little bit at the beginning, but we looked at owning my story. We looked at some power statements. We looked at what happens when I'm in a pressure situation, whether that be literally in a pressure situation on a field or a pressure situation overall, meaning there are coaches watching me, there are scouts watching me, etc., things like that. So how do I react to those situations? How do I show up every day? Yeah, really good call. They're only half an hour. I only do it once a week, but it is super helpful, and I would recommend anybody who's struggling with the mental side of the game definitely pursue something like a sports psychologist who can help you on a really regular basis. I think it does make a crazy difference in the way, at least for me, that I perform and that I show up and that the way that my mindset is. So when I screw up, if I hit the crossbar in a trial instead of scoring an open goal, it doesn't even matter to me because I'm on to the next one already. And that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of reaction that coaches and scouts want to see. So fantastic. What am I gonna do now? It's 3:31. Cool photo, by the way. 3:31. What am I gonna do? It's a Friday and I'm kind of chilling. I gotta figure out what else is on my to-do list, but we did cross some things off, so all good. Going to the store, decided to get some tacos for dinner, which I'm very excited for. I'm gonna go by the local Mexican place and grab some. So one thing really quick is I want to talk about the period of time between my college age, so like 18 to 22. So we'll talk a little bit about college age in just a minute once we hit the store, and I'll kind of tell you about what made the difference for me between being a pretty good club player and a pretty good, practice academy player to one of the best D3 players in the country, and in my opinion, like one of the best players in the country as far as like outside backs go and stuff. So. All right, guys, let's talk college. Ooh, fix that mic. There we go. So let's talk college. So I was in college from 2014 to 2018, and coming in as a freshman, or a first year, as they call it now, I would say I was definitely on track to be one of the better players on the team, but at the time there were several talented players, and to be fair, my class was really talented as well. So, and the class, for those of you who don't know, is just the players who are in the same year that you are. And so I would say the things that I did that set me apart were extra training, not partying and not drinking alcohol, not smoking weed and doing that stuff. And I really was focused and locked into soccer year round. The college season in America is sometimes not really the best as far as continuous playing, because you're only in season for about 4 to 5 months at most, between August and then at the latest like early December, late November. What that means is a lot of players in the country will play for 3 months because they won't make postseason and their preseason's not very long, and they won't train outside of that. They'll train in the springtime with the team and stuff, but there isn't any, hardcore training. That was not the case for me. So the things that I did differently were I trained my ass off in the spring season. I was training extras in season if I wasn't playing games. And eventually my jump and in the summertime during my collegiate career, I would constantly be playing with the highest level competitive teams I could in my area, playing in like UPSL, NPSL, whatever the league was in Seattle at the time. All collegiate players played in it. I think it was Western Washington Premier League or something, WWPL. Anyway, it was all like UW, Seattle U, Whitman, Whitworth, like all these players, right? So I would do that in the summertime. And I was constantly working at a gym routine, all this stuff. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And literally the leap that I made from freshman year, to be fair, there was a coaching switch, but freshman year playing, I think I played in half or 3/4 of the games, started 1 or 2 the entire season. I was good, but it was a coach that really liked seniority, so he always played the older guys, which is whatever. I probably could have done more to play and to be better in that way. And we are home with Mexican food and some other really delicious stuff. Take a seat so we can finish this conversation. So my apologies, the card ran out of storage of the one in the other camera, so I'm gonna just finish the college story now. And I think what I was saying was that I made a pretty exponential jump from first year to senior year. Senior year, I got some really cool personal awards, won Defensive Player of the Year in the league, went all league, first team, regional, second team, like really did well. Scored a ton of goals as a left back, and was looking at a couple different pro places in the spring. And so that's to say that the way that I went from pretty good player freshman year, but like not stand out, to by far the best player on the field, standout player, senior year, is like a lot of hours of work, like so many hours of work, and I'm talking like so many hours of work that were put into the racquetball courts, banging the ball against the wall, getting my touch right, doing extra drills, crossing, shooting, dribbling, like everything, plus strength work, plus mobility, plus recovery, all that stuff. And I had a coach who allowed me some freedom to explore that position. So we always played in a 4-3-3, but he let me explore into different types of play styles. So maybe one game he would say, hey, I want you to stick back and I want you to try to mark this winger out of the game. As soon as he gets subbed off, then you can go and attack. Cool. Like, that's super fun for me. Then some games he was like, oh, their winger doesn't really play that far forward, so I want you to bomb forward all the time. And it really helped my game tactically understand there are times to go, there are times to stay, there are times where you really have to be in tune with what other players are doing, which before that point, before freshman year, I really understood from Mark and sort of the story I told about being at Crossfire with Mark Collings. But that college level allowed me to be much more complex tactically and really step my game into, oh, okay, you're about ready to play professional, and that's awesome. So that's my college years. Yo, nothing like a little video games, the Joe Rogan experience. It's a good Friday evening. Just enjoying myself, getting back to it. In a little bit, we'll talk about the pro and my progression through the pro game, how I got there, what I did to really solidify myself as a proper candidate for the professional leagues. All right, guys, so for the final little bit of getting to the professional game, it came down to who I knew, communication, came down to marketing myself really well, and it came down to continuing the momentum from senior year into the professional game. So as soon as I kind of got an inkling that, hey, I'm going to be playing professional next year, I'm going off to Spain right after graduation, everything sort of started to move pretty quickly. And I would say that there have been big ups and big downs for sure, but my mindset has always been, okay, got to stay neutral through the whole thing. It's just trials and tribulations of being a professional footballer. Some people's careers goes really smoothly and really well, and some people's is a little more rocky, and that's just the way it is. And it was all about developing my mind in those moments and making sure that I was super rock solid and ready to go for whatever I had to do. And that applies for now, staying in the professional game, getting released by the SARS as sort of a wild thing that happened, and you could see that as a negative, but it's also a positive in that I get to go trial for better clubs and bigger opportunities and go really prove that I deserve to be at that next level. And that's something that's really cool for me. So if I were to break it down into the phases, right? So from 5 to 12 in that recreational thing, it was all about enjoying football, having fun, and working on my craft, right? Getting fitter, working on the technical piece. Cool. The next phase in high school from 13, 14 into 18, my club years, my premier and academy years, if you will, those years were spent grinding. When I didn't play freshman year in high school because I wasn't a senior and I wasn't, good enough as a 14-year-old, even though I was on varsity, I would run home 6 miles from the game and then I'd do a technical session at home. Like, it's all about using your environment and doing everything you possibly can to get to that next level. So that's what I would say, just absolute head down grind. Didn't party in high school, didn't do any of that stuff, just put my head down and worked hard. Then in college, it was that same mindset, but also really studying the game, making sure my tactical knowledge was really good, making sure my game understanding was really good, formational understanding was really good, and making sure I had everything kind of put together so that when I got to the professional game, it was all ready to go. And then I'd say my staying in the professional game, this final chapter of my the arc of my soccer career, it's all about the mind, and it's all about, keeping my body healthy and keeping the momentum and keeping growing and keeping doing all that stuff. But it's all about the mindset up here. So that's what I'll leave you with. I'm going to end the video here because I'm going to go take a bath, watch the new Doctor Strange, and just relax for the rest of the evening. It has been a pleasure filming today. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you aren't subscribed to the channel already. post twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, usually in the mornings Eastern time. So if you're just heads up, if you're on that schedule, 9 a.m. Eastern time roughly, Mondays and Thursdays. As always, guys, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.